Welcome to the Best Business Podcast. My mission is to help create 200 new multi-millionaire business owners. How? You'll do better when you know better. In my interviews, you'll hear from self-made millionaires, seven-figure business owners, authors, and world-class experts sharing how they did it so you can too, without experiencing the same obstacles they did. Now, if you like this interview, please share it with a friend you think will benefit. They'll appreciate it, and I will as well. You can also connect with me on social media. Look for Daryl Urbanski, D-A-R-Y-L, Urban Ski, U-R-B-A-N-S-K-I, and add me so we can be friends. Now sit back, relax, and enjoy what I've prepared for you right here, right now. Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us. My name is Daryl Urbanski, your host as always, and today we are joined by online marketing expert and repeat guest, Kim Barrett. Kim is the founder of Your Social Voice, an online marketing and lead generation agency serving experts and small business owners. Kim is famous for growing his agency from $0 to $100,000 a month in sales in under a year. That's quite impressive. He's an international best-selling author, speaker, and trainer. He's taught marketing around the world in 10 different countries for 20 different industries, helping many businesses grow to 6 and 7 figures. Today, he's joining us to share some tips and tricks on how you can generate more leads with less effort in your business with online marketing. Kim, how you doing, my friend?
I'm doing awesome. Thank you, Daryl. Thanks for having me back again. Really appreciate it.
I know, long time no talk. Yeah, no, it's always a great chance. It's always great when I have a chance to speak with you, and I know the listeners enjoy it as well. So for those, if you're just joining the first time, you may want to check out our first interview with Kim. Excellent, great content, cover Facebook and Instagram marketing. We may touch on that as things have definitely changed. But one of the first things I want to start, last time we talked about your history, your background as a kid and teen, and how you grew as an entrepreneur. But I want to talk about this business here. I know that probably perks some people's ears up, going from $0 to $100,000 in sales. So could you maybe talk about that? Like, how did you even get into running an agency, and how did you get to $100,000 in sales a month?
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you, there's a story where I did in 9 days, I did $600,000 in sales. So I'll tell you that after, but
okay.
We'll start at the beginning. But so essentially I was, when I was in business, I'd always been doing marketing online since I was like 15 years old. Mm-hmm. And once I got out of a job, if you will, I was kind of in like a startup with one of my friends who was doing like NLP trainings, breakthrough training, some business coaching and stuff as well. Mm-hmm. I was like the lead trainer there, and I was also running all the ads. I was doing like every single role, pretty much, like bookkeeping, accounting, ads. And it got to the point where it was the end of probably our first full year of working together, and it came down. It's like I either needed to go 100% into being like a trainer, breakthrough coach style person, or I needed to go 100% into marketing. I said, look, if I go 100% into marketing, I want to do it in my own business. I don't want to just have I don't want to just work in a company doing marketing. If I go 100% in marketing, like you can be a client, but I want to have my own thing, my own business that I'm growing.
Right.
So that was pretty much like Christmas time, pretty similar time to kind of now. And I made the decision. I was like, cool, I'm going 100% back myself into marketing. Already had my, technically my first client. Mm-hmm. So I was like, cool, I'm just going to do that. So that's how I started, and just started from there. And, to be honest, I always knew every single thing I've done. I knew that you need a mentor, someone to help you go to, to reach your goals, to achieve things. You go to the gym, you start off with, you need a trainer. I do you do martial arts. I do Brazilian jiu-jitsu. It's like you need a coach.
Yeah.
So
wait, you do jiu-jitsu? Shut up.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, I'm blue belt. So when we were chatting, I mentioned you might not have heard me say it, but I was like, yeah, I'm blue belt in jiu-jitsu.
That's so, man, you just went to a new level of respect for me. That's crazy. I train with Hickson Gracie. But anyways, that's not relevant. But man, that's awesome. Anyway, sorry, keep going.
Yeah. So at that point in time, I had my first client, and I was like, to be honest, I was earning not much money at all. Like I think I was taking away very little. Like $800 a week, but I'd come from a job where I was earning like 3 times that. So I had the expenses of 3 times my earnings.
Right. You had the lifestyle that the income couldn't afford, right?
Yeah. So it was a tumultuous time, to say the least. But at that point in time, I said, cool, I know I'm going to need help, because I've never run an agency before. I didn't know what to term. I was like, I've never run a marketing company. Like I don't know, like I know how to, I've run companies and I helped run companies and I've done marketing, but not a marketing company. So I started looking for a mentor pretty much straight away. As soon as I made that decision, I said I definitely need someone to support me to go to that next level, and kind of had two different people I reached out to, made one decision and kind of just doubled down from there, and just went all chips in on that and started learning. I'd never run. The biggest problem for me at that point in time, though, was then how do I run ads to get clients to run ads for? I know how to get like consumers. I knew how to market like products, events, seminars, but how do I market to the person that runs has products, runs events, has seminars? So it was kind of like it took me, I reckon, probably solid 3 months of trials, testing, wasting ad spend to try and figure that one out.
I'm making air quotes here, but buying data, and the data is your campaign sucks.
yeah, exactly.
Collecting tears in buckets.
It was a little bit frustrating, but then once I got my first client, I was like, well, the client I had currently, I was just charging him the same as what he was paying me, basically. So I was like, well, I don't know how to charge more than that. And, I was getting told, it's like, you should be charging, like $4,000, $5,000, some people charge $10,000 a month. Like, you can do that outcome. But I was nervous of that. And what really allowed me to leverage it was I was like, well, I know that my mentor is one of the best, if not the best in the world. So if they're supporting me and they're giving me insights and info, surely I can do a job half as good as them. And if they charge $20,000 a month, then surely I can charge $4,000 a month for something that would be half as good as a $20,000. Like, that's how I justified it in my head to be able to charge that money, So I was like, cool. When then I was having the conversation, I was confident in charging that price because I knew that I could ask them for help and go, cool, this is what I'm doing. Can you assist? Like, get feedback, stuff like that. So that's
powerful.
Like the path I went down, and just said, cool, like, I know I have support to do this, so I'm just going to do it. And just, looking at that.
And I think that's a really important point to mention, because business is a lonely space. Like you said, even taking an analogy with fitness or jujitsu, right? When your coach is there, they kind of know and believe and see your capabilities. We're so in it sometimes. We're so close to it. It can be hard for us to be objective and judgmental and objective and non-judgmental in certain negative ways, and get and see our full potential. But a coach can see us and where we need to be pushed and where we might struggle, but the struggle will be good. And not only that, you sometimes just need someone to tell you that, hey, it's okay. Like, you need that like little pat on the back and encouragement. And I know some people listening, like a lot of us are kind of, ego driven or alpha types, you could say. And so as entrepreneurs, you may just want it, again, like, you didn't want to have a job. You didn't want to work for someone else. So it's a very independent thing. But that pat on the back and like the slap on the butt to be like, you got it, go in there, get in there. Like, that can make a huge difference, especially if it's someone that you trust, that's credible. Because in business, what are you going to do? Like, if you're competing in a local market, you can't go turn to your competitors and, hey, I'm having a rough month. What are you doing? Like, they're not going to share and help, right? And your staff don't understand often. Like, they're just sitting there logging hours, just waiting to collect a paycheck and looking to clock out. They're more excited about the weekend, you know what I mean, than some of your business goals, some of the things that you're excited about. Your spouse, unless they're involved in the business heavily, they probably may not understand, other than just, you're spending money on what? So it's a really lonely, difficult place to be as a business owner. And that, like, where do you get the confidence to know you can charge what you're worth? Oh, because you had a mentor and he told you and he validated it, and you knew you had, like you said, you knew you had that support there. So I think that's a huge tribute to why, like, what gave you, I mean, obviously, what do they say? Like, success is 99% perspiration, only 1% inspiration. You did the work, you put in the hours, you spent the money to test the ads. Like, that was all you. So I don't want to take anything away from that by any means, but it sounds like that really would have made a big difference. You may not have been comfortable stepping up as fast as you did. You might have still gotten the same place, but it might have taken you 2-3 years.
Yeah, I think it would have taken a lot longer because, like, it's the same thing. It's like, I have people that come in and they speak to me, and they have agencies or whatever, and they're like, cool, I charge like $1,000 a month. I'm like, and they want to get to attend, like, the the old adage, I want to get to a 6-figure company. I was like, cool. So you need to make $10,000 a month minimum, because that's like, and I was like, like, do you want, when you say six figures, you didn't give me any specifics, so you want to get to 10 grand a month. If you get to 10 grand, you get to, 10 grand a month is a bit more, but 8 grand a month. So you either need 8 clients at $1,000, 4 clients at $2,000, 1 client at $8,000.
That's
what
right.
do you want to do?
That's right.
And then they're like, oh, okay, it makes sense. And I was like, you can go and get 10, but you're going to especially I find a lot of time, you're buying a headache, and most of the time the headache's not worth $1,000.
Yeah.
And the sleepless night. So it's like I'd rather have 1 client paying me 100 grand than 10 clients paying me 10 grand.
Yeah.
Because it's less time, energy, and effort. I mean, there's other business problems that come from having more than 50% of your income come from one stream and blah blah blah. But that's the kind of the view that I had. So I kind of just started doing that and started getting results and kind of networking and talking locally to people. And I just started to, like, I was just literally hustling. I was running ads. I was going to networking events, speaking at my clients' events. Just doing as much as possible to get in front of people.
Mm-hmm.
And then kind of like the breakthrough where we kind of started to get to really good figures was when I started to look at the team and sales team, because there's only so much, because at the time I was doing everything. So it's like I was doing sales, I was doing delivery, I was doing graphic design, funnel build, ads, client relations, like everything. And I'm not very like then I started to have to hire people, and I hired someone to design, I hired someone to do a few ads. And then the biggest is when I actually and I built a pretty, what I think to be a good system for running an agency, something I'm pretty proud of the time, energy, and effort we've put into to create. And then from there I was like, cool, I pretty much have a system for everything except for sales. And that was kind of the next big breakthrough. It's like everything else is pretty well, like, follow this process, do this, this, and this. But sales was, I normally, like, I can get a sale on a call that most other people, like in my business, that they probably wouldn't get that sale. Right. They might get close. But because it's my business and I have like supreme confidence, like today, it was funny. I was joking with the guys. I had a guy call me, I closed the sale in 1:35, right? And it was, and it was joking, but he knew me already. I was like, cool, we're going to do this. It's this price. We rock and roll. Cool. Do you want to pay on Visa or MasterCard? It's like, done. Yeah. And we got a little sales gong, and I rung the gong. They're like, what did you sell him? I was like, oh, I just sold him this. And they're like, how long did that take? I was like, oh, looked at the call. I was like, oh, it was 1:35. Yeah. But like that's not by no way means what I could expect from anyone else in my team.
Right.
So I had to find a way to get a predictable results, because at the time I was trying to like sell info products and done for you and everything. And it's like I had the guy I was trying to get to do sales. I tried to get my graphic designer to do sales as well, but she didn't really like it. But I had my the first sales guy, and he was like struggling to sell like a $47 product. Whoa. Like I built this product, we're trying to sell it for like $47 a month, and he was just like hitting brick walls. Yeah. And then I met another mentor like in a different area. So this mentor is like purely for sales. The other mentor I have is like business, ads, growth. This was purely a sales mentor. And I was like, cool, it's going to cost me a lot of money. And it was like, but I'm going to do it and learn from them. The next week, my sales guy closed like $15,000.
That's awesome.
After like absolutely struggling to get a $47 sale, we put together the outline of a $5,000 product, and he sold like 3 of them and a 50% payment for another. I was like, this is ridiculous. Like, what's happened here? It's like all it was is that one shift, same leads, same person, but a system for how we do our sales. And then we did that, and that's when we kind of really started to get to that next level and break through some of the income barriers we'd hit before.
Yeah, that's awesome. So I love that. I love that a lot. And it sounds like, I mean, I'm a huge, we beat the gong, you talked about a gong, beat the drum or the gong on this show a lot about having to build a team, because otherwise it's just you. And again, another interview, Brad Martineau, great interview. People that want to check that one out for sure, check that one out as well. I've been using this ever since I had the interview with him, when he said, hey, if you look up the word entrepreneur in the dictionary, it doesn't say the person who answers the phone, mops the floor, cleans the toilet, does the bookkeeping, makes the sales, delivers the product. Like, that's not what it says. It says the person who organizes a business or business is. So it sounds like that's exactly it. You are the organizer of groups of people. And that's why I started, like you saw on my presentation the other week, that's why I started using the term teams of income. And so it sounds like you knew who to hire, what to hire them for. You got systems in place, which is, I mean, that's more than a lot of people can say. So that's definitely hats off to you. And then the sales system, can you dive into that a little bit? I mean, I don't know if you want to give away any trade secrets, it's fine, but whatever you're willing to share, like what made the big difference? Was it just like because a lot of people are like, oh, I got a sales team and I got a script, but it sounds like this is more than just having a script.
Well, because a script works when you work it properly, right? And there's a few things that go into it, and like I can't take any, like this is nothing I've developed. It's all my mentors who I give tremendous credit to for doing. But the ability, and they said like, and it was, I think I said it to you as well when we caught up recently. It was like, and this is not literally, but also figuratively. It's like if you can make them cry, they buy. It's like if you can understand their pain more than them, and you can get it out from them, because most people go through life, and this is for anyone listening in Australia, you'll see this all the time. It's like, how you doing? Not bad. And it's like, well, are you doing good? Are you doing bad? It's kind of in between. No one ever really delves into it. If you go, but really, like, how are you going? Oh, I'm going pretty good. It's like, actually, like, how are you? Oh, well, you have to take that time to delve deeper into it. It's like everyone's like, how's business? Oh, great. Good. Yeah, not bad. Like, business is good. It's like, well, actually, no, I'm struggling in business. I'm trying to do this with my team. I'm trying to do this with my leads. Cash flows are this. Like, it takes time and the right questioning. And there's areas of business that you need to get that breakthrough in. And for us, it's like, well, we identify with our mentors, it's like, what are the two biggest areas that people normally screw up with in their businesses? And for us, and it's like funny because I kind of asked you about, it's like, number one is niche, right? Is that they don't really know who they want to target. And their marketing doesn't reflect that. Their product doesn't reflect that. And then secondly is that normally they're selling something and they're undervaluing it dramatically. Like, they could be selling, instead of selling, like I said, $1,000 thing, you could sell a $5,000 thing. Same length of time on the phone, but you don't know how to position and place it correctly in the eyes of your niche. And they both go hand in hand. So they taught me a process, and it was like, look at these areas, use that and give them a breakthrough in those areas. And if you can get them to understand that how wrong they've been doing it, and it's like, like they can say, this is why you're, I don't want to swear, like, this is why you're effed, right? This is why you're screwed, is because you don't have this. And then they go, wow. Or they actually, like, you get them to realize that, then the actual process from there is pretty easy. And a lot of time people just go, like, I know I need to do this now. And there's some other like strategies in there where you're getting them to identify if they are, like, self-select if they're the right person or not. But just that biggest one being like, we didn't have that before. It's like, cool. Oh, you want to do marketing? Are you doing marketing now? You are. What are you doing? This. Cool. Well, we can help you do that better. There wasn't really a system or process to follow to allow them to uncover why they really need your help, why they really need to do what you're doing. And as soon as we were able to start delving into that, then it's where, like, that's where the sales really started to flow through. Because before that, it's like, if you just try and have a conversation, even if you've picked up a script off the internet, you don't know how to effectively use it because you don't know what the outcome is. It's like, cool, the outcome is, first of all, breakthrough, second of all, decision. Like, and that was the big one I always drill into my team. It's like, guys, I don't care if you get a no, because a no is 5 times better than a maybe, than a I'll see you next week, then I'll speak to my partner. It's like, you're not you are a salesperson, but as well, all I want you to be is the king of getting decisions. Right. Get people to say yes or no. Like, when I speak to people, it's like, cool. Like, at the end of the call, they say yes or no. And I tell them, it's like, I don't really care. Like, I do care because I want to help you, but I don't really care if you say yes or no. I just want you to make a decision because your business is probably where it is right now because you haven't decided anything. Yeah.
Right. And the decisions create feedback. They always say movement over meditation, where that's the one thing a monk will never tell you, that movement is better than meditation, because even if you take the wrong action, you'll know a lot faster than you will if you sit there thinking about it for days. You can think about how to play tennis or jiu-jitsu and like what you think you should do with this guy when you roll with them, but it's not until you actually go and compete and you try, you find out or not. And if you get choked out, you got choked out, but now you know why. And hopefully you got some footage or something, collected some data, so you can go figure out what you did wrong and do it again. Action. Even Aristotle said that action defines character, not words, not adjectives. And so I think that that's a really key point. So got it. So you go first, you try to dig into their pain. You try to make them comfortable, which is part of rapport building. Get to a pain point that they have. and that's probably 2, 3, 4 layers deep. And then once you get through that, you try to help them realize a breakthrough. Like, okay, well, why is this happening? Let's talk about this. Is this? And then once they realize, you come to a gap in something that they're not doing, they're neglecting, or something that's probably busted in their business. Now that helps them make the decision. Okay, well, do you want our help with that or not? Like, we just, that makes sense.
Yeah, and it's like it's straightforward, but not straightforward. It's like when you put it like that, everyone's like, oh yeah, that makes sense. But it's like when you actually do it with people, and you have to be comfortable making them uncomfortable,
right?
As well, which is very hard. So it's like you've got to be able to sit there and hold it. It's like you've got to put your hand in the fire and let it burn and not flinch. So it's like you're like, cool. So do you realize now that's why you're screwed? And then you just shut up and you wait for them to answer. Because as soon as you try and go over the top, it's like you don't let them know, and they're going to get uncomfortable faster than you will. So it's like I do all the time. As I sit there, I have these like 2 little like brass kind of like meditation ball thingies. I just like wood in my hand. It's like I can do this all day. Like I just don't say anything. I just be quiet.
Right.
The longest time I've been quiet for is like a minute, and then they're like, oh yeah, and then they start talking and tell you more, or they go, yeah, cool, I understand that it's stuffed up, and you just got to be comfortable in waiting and letting them come to the realization, because they already are uncomfortable. That's why they're on the phone with you. They want to get something, but people are too happy, like too quick.
Yep.
And something I learned when we're doing NLP and stuff as well is like if someone starts like crying or getting upset, our natural instinct as good people is to go and give them a hug, pat them on the back, make them feel better. But it's like you've got to let them feel that for a minute, because as soon as you do that, all you're doing is you're anchoring and you're getting them accustomed to that. If I get upset, someone's going to come in and fix it. It's like that's not always the right, or now I want attention, I have to do this, but that's not what you want. It's like, cool. So if you're having a realization in your business, if it's actually screwed, no one gets to come and pat you on the back and go, it's okay. It's like you've got to be able to sit with that and go, cool, then decide, what am I doing next? Like make that next decision.
Yeah. No, I think this is an important point, and I hope people listening are taking notes, because I'm always, even if you never look at your notes again, by writing it down, you'll remember a lot more. But I know a ton of people. I talk to a ton of people, and even some of the campaigns I run. I mean, even in your bio, we mentioned lead generation. That's a hot button for a lot of business owners. I need more leads. I need more traffic, right? Like I need more traffic. But I think the majority of situations, everybody's swimming in leads. They're swimming in traffic. What they suck at is conversion. And I'm as guilty as this as anybody listening to this. So don't think I'm not trying to put myself on a horse by any means. But I love what you're saying. Like you have to be comfortable getting other people uncomfortable, so they feel the pain, so they'll make a decision. Because if they're not feeling pain, it's people either bark at what they don't understand, and staying in your comfort zone. People fight. So, I mean, that's why every New Year's people make resolutions to lose weight and to save money and all these things that they don't do, because it puts them outside their comfort zone. And so to do something like spend some money, I recently hired some people and it made me uncomfortable what I had to pay, but it was almost like that. I already knew I was an easy sell because I sought them out to buy, but I knew what I was getting into, but you got to make those decisions. And so I think that's a big part of being a business owner. If you can't make those decisions, if you can't strap up your bootlaces and look at that stuff, then you might not be suited for being in business, which is okay. You can make a lot of money working for somebody else. You really can. But if you want to own your own business, I think that this is sort of some stuff that you need to get into and interested in. And Kim, obviously, you've definitely figured out some of the things the right way. So what's the story with the $600,000 in sales in one day? That was a great open loop that's been spinning in the back of my head.
Yeah, well, not one day, in 9 days. So
9 days, sorry.
So so a little bit longer.
Oh, geez, that's terrible.
yeah. So my mentors as well, and I'll give them a huge shout out, is one of the guys' name is Gulliver Giles and Leela Cosgrove. So like when it comes to understanding, especially from like if you're the person doing sales in your business, like they're like absolutely the best. So they called me up, they saw I was doing better, and they said, Kim, we've got an event coming up called Sales Residential.
You did a residential. Yeah. No, I know
so
that.
They're like,
sorry, go ahead.
No. So like I was like, okay, cool. Like, what's this? They're like, well, you got to come sit in our house, live with us for 9 days, and it's going to be $30,000.
Yeah.
And at the time, I was like,
that's a lot of money.
Like, that's a lot of money. And then they're like, look, this is the results people got last time and stuff like that. And I was like, at the time, I was like, I need to really skyrocket our sales. So I was like, okay, I'm going to do it. I was like, when do I need to get them by the lake? I think it was like the first week of the month. They're like, we need $10,000 a week for the next 3 weeks. And I'm like, crap. So even then, come up with that, Like I was doing like 20K cash weeks just because I had to do that because I committed to that.
Right.
Otherwise, I was going to have to pay an extra like 15 grand. And I was just like fire, just like pop in sales to do that. So even that gave me a bit of a breakthrough, just having to come up with the money to do it. But then when I went there, I was like, cool, if I go here, I was like, I know, and I'll be honest, like up until that point, I wasn't using the script. I was doing my free flow selling and my sales guys were using the script. So I was like, I'm going to come into this. And I was like, but if I'm paying this amount of money, and I was like, you know how sometimes, and I get there's like kind of I think it's two levels, and I kind of have two feelings. It's like one is probably a little bit higher up, and it's when you have a feeling in your gut and it's the wrong thing. Then I think you get a deeper feeling in your gut when it's the right thing. And you're like, and I had that, and I was like, I couldn't really tell. I was like, I don't know if I'm walking in and it's like I've just burnt $30,000, or if I'm going in and I should be super excited because I'm getting uncomfortable because I'm going to be sitting next to them. They're going to be listening to my calls.
They push you. They push you. They're like, what are you doing? Get back on the phone. Yeah, no, it's good. It's like boiler room style. For people listening, we actually have an interview with Giles. It's not recorded yet. We were supposed to do it a couple days ago, Kim, but it will be recorded, and definitely check that out. They're great people. And they're great at what they do. But sorry, keep going. This is awesome. This is exciting.
Yeah. So I was like so literally nervous, and beforehand I was like, I had to stop. I did a call. I got a coffee and stuff before I went to their house. And as I literally in their house, and I'm like, so nervous. I get there. I'm like, screw it. I'm just like, I'm going to surrender. Whatever happens, happens. But I was like, I'm super like competitive, as I was like, if I'm here, and it was a competition. And it's like, I'm here to win. Yep. Like, Daryl, you would know this. Like, we did a competition not long ago. A bit of an amazing race. But so I was like, if I'm here to win. So I'm just going to do whatever they say. I was like, look, even if I make $5,000, like I've kind of made back the money already because I had to make it to do the thing. I'm just going to forget about how much I spent to get here, and I'm just going to smash it. And I was like, I'm going to be on the phone. I'm going to be the first one on the phones and the last one off the phones was my goal. I was like, I'm just going to do whatever I can. So I like rocked up, and the first night it was super relaxing. It was like, came in and it's like, they're the nicest, like, you know, big hugs with Gulliver, big hugs with Leela. It's like cool sitting down, chatting. They like, Gulliver cooked dinner. It was like beautiful night. And it's like, cool. The next day was set up to rock and roll. And I was like, cool, got up, and I was like, I think the first day was like a frame out day. It was kind of like set the intention for the week, what we're going to be doing for the first like day and a half. And then it was like Monday, we're hitting the phones. So those 2 days I was like getting ready, and I already started like pre-working. I was like, cool, while I'm here, after we finish these sessions, I'm going to be setting up my next day for success. So I was just like every night hitting people up. I was like, we're going to jump on the phone tomorrow. They're like, no, next week. I was like, no, you're getting on the phone tomorrow with me. We're going to talk about this stuff. We're going to get it sorted. And I just lined up my days I was up at 7 a.m. The day started technically for the residential at 8, and breakfast was like 8:30. I was up at 7 already on the phone. I was like skipping breakfast. I was like just coffee, and I think it's Leela's mum was there, who was cooking. Was the chef. She was just like bringing food, putting it on my lap while I was eating while I'm doing my calls. That's right. I was just all day. I think I had to stop for half an hour at lunchtime, and then I worked through till like 6. So I was doing like 12, 13-hour days. That week I did 56 hours of sales calls. I did more calls than that, but actual like hours on the phone, 56 hours in a week. But that equated to $600,000 in sales, because I was selling like full year-long marketing campaigns. Like I created a mastermind while I was there, started selling that, sold 2 people into that. I was just like pumping it, because I was like, look, I'm here. I need to get everything I can, but as well, I want to show my team back home what's possible and show them it's like, I don't even expect you guys to do this, because this is like, I'm the owner of the business, but as well, like this was a special environment that I was in to kind of foster that. But even if you guys did 10% of that every week, like 10%,
just 10%,
then it would be phenomenal. And, so I think I ended up having like about a 50% close rate that week, but I was able to do that amount because I was put into that pressure. But as well, every day I was like, I'm going to be the like first one on, last one off. There's a great, Will Smith, love Will Smith. He's like, if we get on a treadmill together,
that's right.
2 things going to happen.
Right.
Either
you're getting off or I'm going to die.
I'm going to die. It's
right.
that simple.
Either you're getting off first or I'm going to die. Yeah. I know. I tried to do that for that amazing race. I tried to do that for the amazing race where me and Barry were running around everywhere, but the team was not able to keep up. And so we tried to piggyback some people. I didn't want to lose. I was really. Kathy's laughing at me right now.
It's a good lesson, man. You can only move as fast as the
your
slowest
team.
moving part of the business, man.
That's right. That's right.
You can't outrun it. And that was for so long for me. It was sales. Like we couldn't grow because we didn't have sales. And after that was like our big sales breakthrough. But obviously that was just like a crazy.
Oh yeah. Crazy. They didn't bring you. Couldn't bring your team. I'm surprised you couldn't bring your team for the residential. I guess it's they would want that much per seat. Is it that much per seat?
Well, I think like if you bring several people of your team, I think you can get like secondary seats for a little bit less. But I was like, man, it was already stressful enough.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. I saw Marcy Locke. We have an interview with Marcy Locke on here. She's doing $1 million a month, and I met her at one of Gulliver's events in Los Angeles, and she did like $257,000 in an afternoon. Like just hitting the phones, same thing like that. It wasn't a residential, it was one of their events, but one of the events was a day of like residential calling. And that was kind of their lead, like, yo, like this is what we did today. We're going to do a residential. And I think it's a fantastic opportunity because that's the thing is that, humans are dilatory. And especially there's a great book by Dan Kennedy. What is it? Time Management for Entrepreneurs. Talks about how your productivity, you have to really pay attention to what you're doing because as an entrepreneur, there's lots of things you could do. But the reality is if you really think about it, you're not productive all day, right? So if you count how many hours you think you have to get done, the reality is you're only really productive like maybe a third of the hours you work. If you work 8 hours, you're maybe productive for 3. You know what I mean? And then the other stuff is like answering questions and dilly-dallying with staff and looking for stuff that that you need to work. Like actual time spent doing whatever, you know what I mean, is minimal. But those residentials, when you go, you're just in it. Like they're like, why aren't you on the phone? Get on the phone. Like that's what you came here for. So yeah. And if you don't have leads, they'll be like, let's go on your Facebook. Come on, let's go. Let's hop on your Facebook. Let's open her up. Let's get you some leads. Like they're just like, that's a lead. Look, there's a lead. Look, that's a person. They have pockets. I'm sure there's money in those pockets. Like it's really good. Like that's funny. So that's amazing and that's fantastic. And I think hopefully some people listening to this are really inspired. That's for sure, because I think it speaks to the dedication and the discipline and the focus that you have to have. We talked about getting mentors, so you knew the right things, so you leveled up without having to delay. Helping you overcome mindset and even personal, not so much self-worth, but insecurity issues. Am I ready yet? Right? Like. You have someone that can help you. Then building a team around you, mastering a skill set, and then leveraging it through a team after that. All key components, very important for building a successful business. What do you think's been the biggest challenge for you, like through all of that?
Good question. Well, I mean, I probably again as well was like I think with the decision making of the business, like the overarching big decisions, like I kind of went like the biggest challenge is knowing exactly what to do, and it was again like as I said, kind of like trusting your gut on certain things. So I had like at the same time 2 different opportunities come up to grow the business. One was partnering, one was kind of like a 50-50 JV, and I went down one route, and it was like it turned out very quickly that was not the right route to go down. So like just knowing and understanding what was right, the right process to go down there, and it's like I kind of thought that I was probably further ahead in understanding and foresight of what was going to happen when I wasn't quite there yet. So I was making a decision, and it turned out I was like, no, that wasn't the right move for that point in time for me to do, which then caused an issue. And then it's that was a little bit of a not setback, but it was a learning experience that I probably could have avoided happening. And they say, there's a book I was reading recently, and it had in there, it's like success is the worst teacher. Yep. It's like you have a bit of success and you're like, cool, I got this now. Like it's like cool. You take off your training wheels for a second and you ride. Like I don't need a helmet, mum, dad. You go flying down the hill and break your arm, and it's like, oh, okay, maybe I still do need a little bit of help here.
Maybe I wasn't ready yet. Yep. Yeah. What is it? Success. What is it? Success has many fathers, but failure is an orphan. Nobody wants to touch failure. Nobody wants to admit that. Nobody wants to accept it. But it's exactly that. I mean, everybody is a great person when the sun is shining, when your belly's full of food, and you got money in your pocket. But who are you when you're broke, when you're starving, when you're cold and you're wet, and there's one piece of bread on the table, and I'm on one side and you're on the other? Do you know what I mean? Like I've always said that a long time. I usually don't trust people at a deep level until there's been at least one, often multiple events where, they could have eaten my lunch if they needed to, or I could have eaten theirs. Because, otherwise, I mean, everyone's got like circles, right? You draw a bullseye in the middle and circles out, and you put everyone kind of on the spectrum, but to get to the inner core, people really have to prove it, because exactly like you say, it's easy to be my friend when everything's going good, but how, when we have a dispute over money, when we have a dispute over a girl, when, I don't know, I say something that offends you or you say something that offends me, how do we get through it? Do we get through it? That's the stuff that really matters. And so it's, we all want to celebrate and live in the spotlight and in the sunshine and in the good days, but it's the moments when things are the opposite that really define us. So I think that's super powerful. Do you feel that you've had any habits? Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, that's just, did you say habits?
I was going to ask about habits that you feel that you've kept throughout the experience that have really helped contribute.
Yeah, it kind of falls into what I was about to say as well, which is funny, because I was like, well, when those things happen, you kind of fall down to your lowest, like what does I say? You fall down to your lowest level of conditioning,
right?
Which is basically habits,
right?
And then it's like I love the the quote as well from Mike Tyson. It's like everyone has a plan until they get punched in the face.
That's right.
And then it's like then you fall exactly back down to the level of your conditioning. So like my habits was always just like I always want to have. There's probably times when I do have some ego, but I would say like I always like to be like I'm hat in hand. It's like if I make a mistake or a problem, it's like cool, this happened. Like how can I fix this, or how can I learn from this, and how can I adjust it? And I always, there was a long period of time where I thought that I had to internalize. I thought I had to figure it all out, and it's like, well, I pay for support and mentorship. Why don't I ask those people? Or it's like cool, like you make this, like you got to be willing to admit that you've made those, as you said, like the the failure is an orphan. It's like cool, I failed here. What can I do, and how can I be better at it? And that's what I always like. One of the things I pride myself on is fast execution, but then also like fast adjustment from there. It's like, cool, we did this, it failed. Why? What to do next? And that's probably one of the biggest things, same as like I've had it since I've done, jiu-jitsu, since I've done like every martial art that I've tried and done as well, but also everything that I do in business is go, cool, it didn't work. Keep moving forward. And like my biggest thing is positivity. And it's like, and I was talking to one of my clients today, and he's like, how you going? I'm like, pretty good. He's like, it's like, if someone is in Australia right now, and he's like, if anyone said that they weren't good, I would. And he it's funny because he teaches people how to do like handguns. He's like, I would literally shoot them. I would pick up one of my handguns and I would shoot them, because living in Australia and where we are, like even if you like had to go bankrupt, even if you lost all your clients, even if your girlfriend left you, even if like like I had recently one of my good best friends from school passed away in a motorcycle accident. All these things happen. It's like you grieve and like it's definitely bad, and it's like you feel the pain and frustration, but after it's like you have to have gratitude that what you took from that, but you're still here. And it's like for us as well, it's like I live in Australia, like, and Perth and WA is like one of the most beautiful places. This morning, sun was shining, birds are chirping. It's like I always have that positivity where it's like even if everything went to crap, it's like cool, like I live in Australia, I live in the best place, I have family that I could rely on, I have friends, so even if like I've had days where the absolute worst stuff's been happening, it's like I always have to have a smile on my face, even if like some of the worst stuff's gone down. It's like I'll have a joke about it after. It's like there's so much good going on that one of my biggest habits always been is like just always being positive. It's like like I can definitely take the negative parts from things and learn from them as well, but it's like just having the positivity and smile, I think, is the biggest one, because I can easily see, and I've seen with friends and family that have mental illness and stuff like that. It's like if you aren't able to be positive, I can definitely see like the stuff that's happened to me. Like if I wasn't a positive person, I could see where that could end up and how people could feel and how it could definitely put you into a funk. And it's like I'm always of the adage of like, we'll figure it out. Like something will happen. I'll be able to work it out, like, and we're luckily entrepreneurs. I'll tell you a quick little side story if you don't mind.
Sure.
One of my buddies is in Perth at the moment. He's in Melbourne. We do a podcast together as well. And we are running like a little mini mastermind group. And he's in Perth, and there was a whole thing they were doing around money, and it was basically to show people how, it's never a question of resources, it's resourcefulness.
Mm-hmm.
But he called me up and he's like, cool, Kim, I have an envelope. I have 5 objects in the envelope. I need to make $500 per object. I can sell my services if I want or anything like that. And I was like, cool. Like, he has virtual assistants. I was like, cool. Give me like a month of a virtual assistant use, and I'll give you $500. He's like, yep, done. So he comes over, picks up the cash from me, literally like 10 minutes later, to take back to this course he's doing. And there was another guy there who's in oil and gas, like in construction. He's like, oh, it's so interesting watching you guys do this, because I as business owners in the space of online marketing and things like that, and being creative as a business owner, he's like, you're literally making something from nothing. Like,
yep.
You're making, like, every day you wake up and you go, cool, how can I create money?
Yep.
And he's like, I go there, I exchange my hours for dollars, and watching you do this, he's like, it's so crazy. It's like, we are it's like we're the alchemists. It's like, you're going there and just creating this stuff from nothing. And I think it's the opportunity that we have with that. It's like, cool, every day it's easy to be positive, because it's like, I need something, I need to do something. It's like, cool, how can I, like, I think as entrepreneurs and business people, you go, how can I create that, or how can I make that happen?
Yep.
And and it's possible. So that's what I always think is, it's probably a long-winded answer to your question, but that's the approach to it.
I think it's really important. First, I want to say that's a martial arts expression. You don't rise to the level of your expectation. In competition, you don't rise to the level of your expectations. You fall to the level of your training. It's like you say, when everyone has a plan until they get punched in the face. But even beyond that, we live in such abundance. People don't realize that. Like, that's what gives me strength to be positive. Is everybody, like, listening to this right now? Kim, you and I didn't have to figure out how to make a headset that could translate my voice into ones and zeros, transfer it across the planet. I mean, we're in different countries, right? And people listening to this, they're probably who knows where. Send it. I didn't have to figure that out. I just put on a $20 headset and plugged it into my laptop and clicked a damn button, and we're good to go. I'm enjoying light right now and air conditioning, and I had some water and some food earlier, and I didn't have to figure any of that out. Last week, we were in Indonesia together, and there was this beautiful resort. We didn't have to find that spot. We didn't have to haul the bricks in and lay the cements and do the stone. Like, we got to enjoy all that stuff. The food was incredible, and we didn't make any of it. Do you know what I mean? Like, and all that food, there's layers of things that have to happen. Like the food that we had, somebody had to raise the cow and figure out how to prevent them from dying from diseases and what medicines to give. There's so much abundance. I always think that, like, anytime I drive on the road, I always think, because I'm in the Philippines right now, and I've driven down some roads that were pretty muddy and pretty beat up, and even in Canada, right? You go off road, and I'm like, I'm so grateful. Guys spent weeks in the jungle building this road for me right now, so I can just hop in a rental car and just fly down and have a nice weekend. Like, there's so much abundance. People don't get it. Like, if your life to the world is like the wave is to an ocean, and it's all happening simultaneously. And there's so much happening, and there's so much abundance, and there's so many things crashing and overlapping. Like, there's so much abundance, but most people don't even see it. They're just caught up in this negativity of their world. Like today, we know more and we have access to more. Like, the world has a neural synapsis now with the internet for the first time ever. All humans with connection to the internet, you can access right now. People are listening to you that went from zero to over $100,000 a month in sales, and they're doing it without being in your town, without having met you, known you, or anything like that. And prior to the internet, the only source of knowledge would be your formal education at a college or university, your personal life experiences, or the books you read, which meant that often you had to go to a library and you had to, like, pull out a big book, find out what section your book might be in, and then you had to walk to that section and scan all the books on the shelves. Sorry, am I boring you explaining this? It was even worse doing it. Find the books you wanted to read, pull them out, scan the 4 or 5 books you had, and then you had to spend a fucking week or 2 weeks reading them. Like, now I just go on, hey Siri, what's the answer to this? Boom, done, and just plug in. There's so much abundance. So Siri heard me and tried to answer. What is the answer to this song? She's listening. She's listening to the song right now. Anyways, all right. But yeah, I'm going to get off the soapbox. But I just think that that's so important. People listening, a lot of business owners, most business owners are living quiet lives of desperation because we talked about earlier, it's lonely. There's no one to talk to. Who do they share with? They don't want to confess their sins or their problems. They think they're smart enough to figure it on their own. And so it's like, what do you do? And we live in a world of such abundance, such grace. And honestly, in the countries that we live in, Kim, you're in Australia. I'm from Canada. A lot of people listening to this are from the UK and the States. We do have people from all around the world, but most countries you live in, you have to fall really far before you really have anything to worry about. Like at the end of the day, all you have is earth, wind, sunlight, water, and the miracle of life. That's everything we have is created of those 5 things. And that's it. And I mean, as long as you got food and water and a roof over your head, you're kind of good. And that's like we mastered that hundreds of years ago. So it's kind of like after that, it's just like have fun and play and be like what I love about what you and I do, Kim, is we're in great industries. We're not selling alcohol. We're not selling tobacco. We're not promoting like and if anyone listens as a nightclub, sorry, but we're not promoting like unhealthy lifestyles or anything like that whatsoever. I even know some of your clients. In fact, you're promoting fantastic lifestyles. So it's like only thing we're doing is just trying to help business owners connect with people and make their lives better. Like it's all good. And so anyways, that's my rant. So,
no, I think it's so true, man. And it's like, and that's like, if anyone can take from it's like, cool, like, great. Yeah, like your ad campaign like sucked and didn't work. It's okay. It's like your funnel didn't work. It's okay. It's like, cool. You try to build a business and you hired some people and then you had to let them go. Right. It's okay.
Yeah. Did you die?
Good. Don't worry.
Oh, good. Okay. Then you're all right. Yeah. Did you die? Yeah. Did you lose a leg? Did did someone you love die? Like I was so worried. My dog was sick last weekend and I feel like I know what it would be like to be a parent. And I know she's just a dog, but she's still like a kid to me. I was so nervous. And it's funny because I was complaining about something I've been stressing it over business. I was so much more worried about my dog than I was about those business things. And so now just listening to you, I'm like laughing. I'm like, it is just a game. Like it's just for fun. Like it's supposed to be fun. And it's okay to be frustrated. If you play a video game, you get pissed off, you died at the same spot 12 times. Whatever. It's a game. Just have fun. Nobody really knows what's happening afterwards anyway. So what do you see as the future of online marketing, Kim? Where are things going? What are we going to be doing in 5 years? Are we going to all be wearing VR headsets and are we going to be wirelessly connecting to each other or what? Like what's
it's an interesting one. I think there's kind of aspects of each, but the thing is as well, like, I don't know about you, I kind of feel that sometimes like when you have an abundance and over amount of stuff, like you get over it and you want to go the opposite way. Mm-hmm. Like, when you get like too much mail, you're like, cool, I want email now. And then you get too many emails, you're like, oh, I wish someone would send me a letter.
Yeah.
And you know what I mean? Like, I think you kind of bounce forward. So it's like, I think definitely there's going to be AR, there's VR, you'll be able to, jump on a rocket and get from, New York to UK in 5 minutes or whatever Elon Musk is going to do. But I think as well, it's like, there's going to be, it's like, cool, everyone I think will want to, get back to nature, be around. Like we were both just in Singapore. We went and saw the super trees and stuff like that. Yep. And you go there and you're like, wow, it's like, it's so good to be amongst this amount of nature. Yeah. And I think that there will be these things, but I don't know necessarily, like, even for me, like I'm I love technology and I love this stuff, but it's like, I still like to go and like be in the countryside and relax or, like go and swim at the beach and be away from everything. Mm-hmm. So I think there's definitely going to be avenues. And I think like the AR, the VR is definitely kind of coming. And it's just more, I think pretty much like my biggest thoughts is that the personalization of things. And it's like, it already is there, and it's like, cool, you have like, Daryl's Facebook is different to my Facebook. You see different ads to the ads that I see. Like it's there somewhat in some way, shape or form already, but I think it's just going to grow. And it's like, based on the actions you take, the information that you give to people, your view of the world and reality will be customized to you. Yeah. Which again is good and bad. And it's like, that's good, but it's like also bad. It's like, well, you sometimes miss out on what's actually happening around you as well, which I think that's why the balance comes of like still being connected to nature, things outside of like a computer or the internet, Yeah. But I think it's definitely going to scale up, and I think that's the biggest that I see anyway is the personalization, like the pure specificity for people. It's like, cool for me. It's like, Daryl's going to see ads about CrossFit, about, all you can eat buffets and Thailand, like that's what he's going to see.
Kim, you just rolled me up into 3 things. That's awesome. No, that's great. That's fantastic. No, I agree. I think I see the regression. I see a lot more people responding to. It's funny you mentioned the phone sales team. Just the more I research that, I think there's a lot more like that. Like people worry about AI and these sorts of things and computers taking over, but I think a lot of people don't realize we're already cybernetic beings. Like right now, you and I are talking with extensions to our organic animal. People listening to this are listening through extensions of their organic animal, robotic extensions that are processing millions of operations, just like your heart is beating and your lungs are moving and your blood is pumping and your liver's cleaning and your brain is functioning, and you're not controlling any of it. It's just happening as you go, going back to you are a wave in the ocean. You are in the world like a wave is to an ocean. All these things are all happening around you. So I don't necessarily think people have to be fearful of computers taking over. I think there will be more automation, but hopefully we all level up to a higher level of living or higher level tasks and freedom to be creative and like you said, maybe just go back. Maybe when they get that that universal income Elon's been talking about, that basic income every human gets, maybe everyone just starts hanging out at the beaches. The cities empty out, everyone goes to the woods and the mountains and the beaches, and then all of a sudden we find more artists and who knows what. We start doing other things, science coming out and traveling other planets. I think it's going to be exciting. It might be, it'll probably be like the last 10 years. Jim Rohn used to say this. I could predict the last 10 years. It'll be probably like the past 10 years, opportunity mixed with difficulty. Sometimes there's more opportunity, sometimes there's more difficulty, but they're both always present. So it's probably a good way to wrap this up. Now, if anyone's listening to this, Kim, and they love your vibe and they love your story and they want to connect or they even want to work with you, what are some of the best ways for them to connect?
Yeah, I mean, the easiest, I'm always on Facebook. You can follow me on there. You can add me, send me a message, or our website as well, yoursocialvoice.com.au and kimbarrett.com.au. Feel free to jump on there and check out. We've got a lot of cool different bits and pieces on there, trainings, insights, info, ebooks, all that fun stuff to help you out with anything you need.
That's awesome. So that was yoursocialvoice.com.au, if anyone didn't notice. He's in Australia, so all those .coms. Yeah. He said AU, but the accent, it was like, yes. Some people in England, they might be like, did he just say hey you? No, AU. So yoursocialvoice.com.au. And was it kimbarrett.com.au?
Yeah, kimbarrett.com.au.
Right, BARRETT. And of course, you can always look him up on social media. Put the links in the description. Kim, thank you so much. I mean, it's great to have you back on the show. It was great to see you the other week, and it's always great to catch up. I value you as a friend and role model and just as a peer in the industry. And I just have a ton of respect, and I would just look forward to seeing how we grow and change and evolve over the next 10, 15, 20 plus years. So thank you for coming and sharing. I know you got your own audience, your own podcast, your clients, your own life you could have been doing, but thank you for just sparing some time to come and help me and some of my audience grow. So thanks, man.
No, thanks for having me. Appreciate it. And anything I can ever do to help, appreciate you as well, Daryl. So thanks for having me again.
You've reached the end of our interview. Now, first, let me thank you for listening. I appreciate and respect you more than you'll ever know. And now I'd like to ask you a couple of questions. First, what 3 lessons did you just learn? What 3 aha moments just jumped out at you? Second, what can you implement for yourself and your business in the next 24 hours? Third, what can you give to someone else to help you with, or give to them to just do it for you? Whatever it is, remember, taking action is the secret sauce to results. Now, if you think this interview would be helpful for a friend, please give them a link to it. It'll help them and it'll help me too. I'd also like to invite you to help me find out more about the challenges you're facing, your dreams, your goals, and how I can help you overcome what's holding you back. We both do better when we know better, and your success is my success. So please reach out and interact. You can visit our website, bestbusinesscoach.ca for Canada or California, where I'm from and where I'm living. You're welcome to also try out one of our paid programs. You can find us on YouTube, Facebook, and pretty much every other social media channel you can think of. You should also subscribe to the podcast, and if you're enjoying them, please leave us a nice review. It really helps. That's all for now. Once again, thank you. Take care of yourself, and remember, the world needs the best business you can build. And I believe in you.
So look, I was privileged enough to sit in the room the other day and listen to Daryl present.
I had the great fortune to spend some time with Daryl Abrinsky during this week, and we had an incredible 2.5-hour presentation from Daryl.
Daryl was amazing. I got so many little nuggets of wisdom.
I hadn't heard Daryl speak before, but what struck me from his presentation was
He's one of these hidden masters in the internet marketing world who's worked on some pretty incredible launches.
Daryl has a ridiculous amount of knowledge.
Daryl Urbanski's presentation was absolutely great. I really loved
an incredible knowledge of numbers. He is a very articulate, very knowledgeable, very advanced marketer.
Well, he talked a lot about keyword tools and how to research your niche.
So it really created a lot of predictability around moving forwards in our business with the marketing and sales aspect, which is so important to any business to really see it grow.
Where he walks you through step by step
how to judge in detailed form how much money you could potentially make from a market based on AdWords, keyword research, and putting together quite complex Excel spreadsheets.
And what I took away from it is not only understanding your niche market, but also looking at and breaking down and going, am I working with the right niche? Is there enough demand there for me to be able to reach my goals? And doing that hard research.
There's a lot of gurus out there that present you a lot of the why and the what, but they don't necessarily give you the how. And what I really found with Daryl's presentation, there's no holding back. There was no holding back the screens or the curtains. Like, everything was given to really assist us.
His feasibility and due diligence is incredible, and he was able to show us in a really short space of time how to cut through the overwhelm.
You're giving us the exact tools that we can use to test something before we even go to start testing it by spending money on it.
One of the biggest nuggets that I got out of his presentation was that when people pay, they pay attention, and when people pay a lot, they pay a lot of attention. I just love that. I think that's a great way to look at how to price yourself.
And he was a great speaker, lots of energy, and it was really great to spend time with him.
Honestly, phenomenal presentation.
I would love to catch up with him, next time I'm in this part of the world.